Okay, 5:19 p.m. 29th on the 1st, 2023. This is an part of the tribute Rest in Peace video from Meeska, my cat, 3 years old when she passed away. Some simple knowledge and information. Male cats generally, when they get older, unless they've been eating human food, can get a urinary disease. Basically their urine just crystallizes and they can't urinate, and they basically swell up and temperature goes so high and basically they just die from it. If you can't get them within 3 days, and if they're 15 years old like mine was, surgery is about $3,000, and unfortunately on the advice of a vet on Kildare, if they put a needle in her to put him under anesthesia, he would have just passed away. His heart would not have been able to take it, and which pretty much happened when I had to have him put down. I just cried my eyes out because I didn't know. I thought I was just there because he was constipated, but it turned out to be much worse. And he just, as soon as I put the needle in him and the contents of the needle touched him, he simply just passed away. So let me see. Right. First off, pets require obviously food, water, shelter, especially cats and most dogs. Pets can include anything from goats to horses to cows, whatever. An appropriate temperature. So, sorry. And in females, they're known to get, excuse me, they're known to get bowel diseases, unlike males. So there is veterinarian type, I should say, influenced, formulated cat food you can buy. Most vets know about it, some do not. And if they don't recommend it, because that means they don't know about the cat food you can use, especially if the cat is young and it has a urinary disease, that cat food can save them. Because I do know about at least one example of that, which wasn't mine because mine was too old. But luckily, Meeska, being female, I didn't have a bowel disease, which I wouldn't have cared about the cost, despite not having pet insurance. So my advice is that if you can afford pet insurance, do so, but be warned, most are between $40 and $70 a week, not fortnight, a week. And surgery and the things you need to do all that, you have to pay for. And that includes swaps, IVs, bandages, anything to do with disinfectant or disinfectation. Sorry, I don't think that's a word. But anything that goes along with that and help clean the wound or clean anything regarding surgery or medications, you have to pay for everything. None of it is free whatsoever. So consider that when you get a pet. And those parents who are getting a kitten for their kid without giving it any thought is thereby giving a kid what I think they're using as a toy. Okay? Kittens are not toys, puppies are not toys. If you're not willing to get insurance or pay for their well-being and feed them, look after them and train them, to me, a dumb pet is a dumb owner, because the animal simply has not been trained, and that is the owner's fault, no one else's. Same with a cat. You can train a cat by using food and key words that they can relate to. With my cats, I used loud whistles, especially if I did not know where they were, to get them to come to me, which they did most of the time. And well, Mr. B was, because he was old, he basically stayed inside most of the time. So you got to remember, the Egyptians used to worship cats because some people believe that cats actually domesticated humans and humans didn't domesticate cats, but that's up to debate. Anyway, so yeah, please do not buy puppies or kittens as if they're toys, because they're not. Hello folks, this video is a tribute and a rest in peace for one of my cats, the last cat I had, called Meeska, and the way she passed away. I was quite devastated and upset for a few weeks after the event, and I completely put all the blame onto a vet on Kildare. This is the review. I did, but it basically says Mylanus and O'Callaghan Veterinary Hospital, 27/11/2020. My cat was very ill. Took her to them just after 9 a.m. Waited 10 minutes or so before I were seen. She was examined by a vet who had said she has clear eyes, nice gum colour and no fluid in her lungs, on having a viral infection. He also said before that the tablets were better than the injected antibiotics, updated 21/1/2021. I also forgot to mention, he said that the meds are very expensive, but I explained that Meeska, would only throw up the tablet or tab later on. He repeated himself, and she was then quickly treated with the antibiotics. And something else, as I forgot what he said, being I were worried about her, I then tried to explain if I needed a budget, but realizing what I said, I then say that it does not matter whatever it needs to be done. After vet had said the injections are quite expensive, I was told bring her back if she got worse. I actually thought he was going to keep her overnight with an IV, as he said her temp was already 41 degrees. If it goes to 42, she'll die. As I said, that's why I'm asking, as I don't know. I pay my bill and left with the vet opening the door for me to exit the building. By 4 p.m, when they opened again, I immediately saw my cat was getting worse. I took her to them. I drove onto their lack of car space property in a panic. I get out of my car with no aggressive behaviour or the use of profanity. So the nurses could see me through their counter window. A short in statured nurse with dyed hair comes out with dyed hair, I think it was either blue or pink, opening the sliding glass door, as no one else allowed to wait in the patient room. Everyone is outside in the heat. I say she's got worse. The vet nurse pauses to recognise me from earlier and replies, I put her in the line, okay? She then says, have to find somewhere to park your car, as other cars will be coming in with their pets. I did not know how to reply to that insensitive remark, to my distraught state, as she quickly rushes back inside. I could also hear her say, he's going to do it, he's going to do it, said her voice from inside. Updated 1/17/2021. As I had also opened my car door to check the state of my cat, moaning in agony in the heat, I suddenly looked at the least 5 or more people in front of me, knowing if I stayed, my cat Meeska would be dead in minutes from the heat, who were obviously more concerned about their own situations, causing me to hammer-fist my car roof. Looking at my cat's worsening condition in the heat, I quickly get back in my car and drove home, and placed my beloved cat onto the bathroom tile floor and gave her a syringe of 20 ml of water orally. 20 minutes later, she was looking alright, so I went out for an hour, but when I get back home, I found my beloved cat dead on the hallway floor. I tried to resuscitate her through her nose, but her neck and front legs had already stiffened from the heat. I still cannot believe she's dead. I cried for 2 hours. The vet themselves are very professional. Some of the nurses have major gender issues that treat especially single males as dangerous, domineering and aggressive predators. If you have an emergency, even after being there early that morning, they will not help. They do not know the difference between heat stroke and a viral infection, as the symptoms are similar at early stages, being no swelling. If they are impatient, then assume the worst. Unless they do a blood test, it is an assumption at your expense. No, blood test is a minimum of $90. Without insurance, they will assume you have no money. Edited 29 of the 9, 2022. And that is the review I put up on Google with photographs. And the photographs, as I get rid of that, I will now show the photographs if they come up. Yeah, they're coming up. I don't know, but it's not going to focus. Piece of crap. So rest in peace, Meeska. I love you. I brought her back home and buried her. After I found her in the hallway, I buried her in the backyard. I'm just going through it again, trying to find those photos again, which is not letting me show them without. But you saw Meeska, 3 years old at the time. So this is I'll add to my YouTube channel called the Cape Gremlin Hobbies, as a tribute to Meeska. I actually got her out of a litter of, actually there was 2 or 3 litters at this same property, and this cat was the only one left, who was a very long-haired, ginger-coloured cat, female. No one wanted her, but I saw her. She was actually so scared of me, she kept on trying to run away because she was bullied by the other adult cats that were there. And I rushed her home to my mum's place because she was dehydrated from all the stress and heat because it was summer. So again, I gave her some water with a syringe, and she settled down. If I carried her in the palm of my hand, she used to settle right down and calm and fall asleep. That's how small she was when I got her. So eventually she turned into the cat that you saw in the photos. I still miss her today. I still have nightmares about it. Mr. B was a black cat who was 15 years old. He died a year before she did from a urinary disease where the urine crystallizes in the bladder and they cannot urinate, and they basically just die from that. Everything swells up inside. I thought she had diarrhea, or she was constipated. So I tried to give her something to eat, and she wouldn't eat for 3 days. And she was Mr. B was just getting worse and worse. I don't know if I've got any photos of Mr. B. I think I do somewhere. I will add them as a collage to this video if I find them. I also miss him as well because I sometimes imagine I see him walking around, especially late at night when I'm getting tired. So I do miss him as well.